It's a dating website in America for people that want to have marital affairs. And you think, how are they going to make this into like a whatever part series documentary? But it goes into this huge issue that happened with them having a data leak, essentially.
Can you imagine? Hello and welcome to the SheerLuxe Team podcast with me, Georgina Blaski. Today I'm joined by Lou Huff and Maya Lucky. Hello everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Good, thanks. I got in the car this morning and it was 10 degrees.
How is that possible? It's June.
Literally.
I know, and it was also about 6 o'clock when I woke up. It was torrential rain
Yeah, right.
and the wind. Let's talk about something to cheer ourselves up a bit then instead. Lou, let's start with you. On to something new and noteworthy.
Well, I was at a wedding this weekend. It was so nice. It was in Brixton. It was like a 5-minute drive from where I live, which is the dream. I feel like sometimes when you go to a wedding, like the rigmarole, like getting there, having to book overnight accommodation or a really expensive taxi home. It was so nice. It was in a place called 100 Barrington. I don't know if either of you have heard
of it.
No.
It was so cool. It was just like a kind of like exposed brick, quite like New York loft. There was then a beautiful like outside area with like festoon lights, and it was so beautiful. Anyway, I left it really to the last minute to find something to wear. Kamai, a jewelry brand, I had a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago, and they saved the day by generously loaning me some of their beautiful jewelry.
Nice.
And
So what was the dress code? Was it like
the
summer
dress code?
wedding
No,
or
dress
black
code was black tie.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I've seen the pictures because the guy getting married works at SheerLuxe. But I was like, everyone's wearing black.
Yeah.
I was like, is this normal?
Well, I think in black tie, I think it felt more evening. So yeah, I was wearing a black Magda Butrym dress.
It looked beautiful.
Thank you. I felt like I needed like accessories to kind of make it feel more exciting. So I borrowed some beautiful pieces from Kamai, which is all it's all made in Antwerp, and it's lab grown diamonds, and then it's all 18 karat recycled gold, and the pieces are just stunning, like absolutely beautiful. Obviously, like lab grown has been really having a moment for the last couple of years, but they have also become so well known for their amazing shapes. Like one of the rings it's kind of like a wavy detail with then like a massive oval cut diamond.
Oh, wow.
And just it's so beautiful. They've got a store on Chiltern Street, so if you're ever around Marylebone, do go and have a look in, because yeah, like amazing, like massive stones at like a fraction of the cost.
And what is the
Yeah.
price point if it's lab grown?
So really varies depending on obviously what you're going for, but like a massive mega ring is about 3,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that
So,
sounds
yeah.
really good. And is
Definitely.
it just diamonds? Are there any other kind of stones that they do?
No, just diamonds.
Yeah.
Well, we're a beautiful like tennis necklace, a ring, and then actually I've still got the earrings on now. But yeah, some really
Oh,
cool like
lovely.
huggies with then just like one cool diamond coming off. It's just the designs are really unique, and I feel like sometimes in like the jewelry space, it can get a bit samey,
Yeah.
and
Everyone's going with the fashion.
totally.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have something a little bit more unique. So
Nice.
yeah, do check it out. Another thing I'm loving is a brand called Manu Atelier. So they aren't a new brand. I think they've just had their 10-year anniversary actually, and they've just launched this incredible bag which is sitting behind me. It's just part of their pre-fall collection, and again, like the price of designer handbags now has got extortionate. Last time I was on the podcast, I was speaking about how expensive there is, and I think this kind of contemporary price point is so key, because yeah, you're looking at thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
It's a family run business. It's 2 sisters that run it. They live in Turkey, and their dad makes all of the bags. He's like he's like
wow.
made bags
Oh
for
my
like
God.
all his life.
Incredible.
So he knows like all of the suppliers. So I was saying to them, like, how is it so affordable where like it's all handmade? Like the leather is made in the same factory as
Wow.
Hermes. So the quality is incredible. And yeah, it's all like handmade details, amazing designs. The one I've got, if you love the Row Margot
Yeah.
bag, this is it.
Oh, so
It's
it's got a
so
kind
nice.
of Birkin vibe? or
Yeah,
is
and
it
it's
the,
just so it's
that
coming
one?
in a bigger shape, and then I
Yeah.
think a smaller one as well. So you could probably get a laptop in, but it's just like perfect work size bag.
And is it more like a few £100?
So yeah, this one is, I think it's $700. So yeah, about £500.
Yeah.
But for like a handmade,
Yeah.
like real great quality.
It looks
And
gorgeous.
it's so timeless, the design.
Yeah.
You can have that for years and years.
Exactly. They also do shoes as well. But yeah, do check out their new collection because yeah, so beautiful. Another thing I want to talk about is the ABC kitchen, which has just opened in the new Emery Hotel.
I want to go there so bad.
Oh my god! So this is my favorite restaurant in New York. It's Jean Georges. As a vegetarian, vegan, basically a fussy eater. When you go to a restaurant and there's literally only like one thing you can have on the menu,
Oh, yeah.
and just like it just feels like such a
disappointing, isn't it?
and it's such a like wasted trip to a restaurant, and you feel like everyone else is like perusing the menu with so many options, and you just feel so left out. Anyway, I remember when I went to the one in New York, and they have a couple of versions where there's like one's just a vegan one, one's vegetarian, one's a bit of a mix of everything. The main dish I've been so excited for is it's like roasted. It's going to sound not that exciting. Like roasted carrots, and they're then roasted with like orange and lemon and citrus, and then it's got like a dukkha,
No,
like,
that sounds
spicy
very good.
Delicious.
on top of it, and then it's got like avocado scoops, and it's got like a sprout,
wow.
like topping. And do you know what? Like I can literally taste it. I've like been able to taste it. I'm waiting to have this dish again, and it was so good.
So you'd had it in the New York.
I had a New York one. It's like my favorite thing. I've tried to recreate it over here. So when I heard that this restaurant was opening, I was beside myself with excitement.
And was it as good?
It was absolutely incredible. And there's also a like pea guacamole like
I've
side.
heard about this. They got written about a lot in the papers when they launched because of the pea guac.
Yeah, I think Barack Obama like tweeted about it once,
Okay.
and so like went wild. And it was delicious. And yeah, my husband went as a date night, which we also haven't done in years. So it was really great. And yeah, he had like pork tacos and fish tacos, which were amazing. Like you can kind of have little sharing plates. Yeah. Great people watching. The hotel was gorgeous. Just really nice.
Well, I've just got to tell you about my new treatment that I had recently, which was a new filler. So I've been having Botox, baby Botox for years and years. Again, lots of sleepless nights with children catching up with me. I think it was like around 2018, 2019. I had filler for the first time. I just felt like it looked really obvious. I felt like I could feel this kind of ridge here on my cheekbone. It wasn't the look I was after, and I was really kind of disappointed and put off. And then I tried a few other things kind of under the skin, but they just didn't really seem to work. So I go and have my Botox with a guy called Dr. Wasim Taktuk, who's part of the Taktuk Clinic in London. He's the founder of it. And his whole approach to anything injectable is that it's really, really natural, really gentle. That's the kind of approach that I like. I never want someone to look at me and think like, oh my
Like, know
God,
what
you
you've
just had
done.
something done. I just want people to think like, oh, you look really rested, or you look really well. Anyway, so I went and talked to him, and he put filler in my temples and my cheekbones about 2 months ago now, and I'm so pleased with the results. It's so different from what I had before because it's a filler. It's called RHA, and it's by Teoxane, and what it does is it actually stretches with the skin. So when it's injected into, first of all, when it's injected in, doesn't hurt, no bruising, and it just kind of sits and moves with the tissue that's under your skin, and it's still got the kind of hyaluronic acids that the other ones had. But the difference is how it moves. And I just feel like a bit more lifted, a bit fuller, but as I was getting older and having less sleep, everything was sort of falling a bit. And it just was like a really lovely, like even the lines around my mouth have softened because of having something put higher up.
Really?
But I don't feel like I've got hamster cheeks or anything like that.
And how long
'Cause
does
it's
it
not a good
last
look.
for?
Well, it can last from 6 months to 2 years. It kind of depends because your skin just breaks it down.
Okay.
Because it kind of replicates quite closely the hyaluronic acid you've already got in your skin. So it just kind of breaks down depending on, I think everyone's different really, but it's certainly minimum 6 months, but more likely to be 2 years.
Wow.
And you can have it on its own with Botox, with other things. So
And did you get it in the same positions that you had it put in before?
no, so what he did, which I think was really clever, was first he actually put some in my temples, which slightly kind of widen my face, because he said if you have filler just in your cheekbones, and I don't have really big kind of broad cheekbones like I think both of you have, I've got a much sort of longer face. So he said what happens is sometimes people put filler in their cheekbones and then it kind of fills, but because they haven't got filler in their temples, it can kind of look a bit obvious and a bit weird.
Or you get like point, like it's like literally a point like that from the front on.
Yeah, and then also around your eyes, it just looks quite hollow. Yeah. So first you put a little bit here, and then just kind of continued this little curve. And I'm just very happy
because you don't look like you've got in your face, which is a good thing.
No, but I just feel like everything's just not sagging down. So.
Did your husband notice? Like, did you tell him?
No, I didn't tell him straight away at all. And then I actually went back to have a little top up because, well, another thing I really like about Dr. Tatto, because he does it all quite slowly and gently, and he'll always like, let's start with less, come back in 2 weeks. You can always add a bit more. So I went back, and then he was like, where are you going again? Why are you going up? Why are you going there? And then I sort of said, oh, well, I've had this done. He was like, oh, I did think you were looking quite well. And that was it. So, yeah, nice. It was kind of part of the experiment not to say. See what he noticed.
That's so good.
So, yeah, on the beauty side, that has been my new discovery. So, I'm very happy with that. And then the other thing is we've just got a pizza oven. So I don't know if anyone else has a pizza oven.
So we went to, but I'm desperate for one. We went to friends for lunch last weekend when it was actually sunny, and we sat in the garden and they made pizzas in their pizza oven, and it was such a joy. It was just like, it was so easy. They'd made the dough beforehand, just like one at a time. Literally took like a minute, 2 minutes,
and how fast they cook.
Yeah, so we've got one called the Gozi Arc, which is their new one, and I think it gets up to about 400 degrees.
Wow.
And it's just gas flame, so you're not kind of getting special wood chip, but it gives that kind of wood fired like taste. And the flame, I think it's called the arc because the flame arcs over, and so you have this special tool where you kind of turn the pizza while it's in the pizza oven to make sure it cooks evenly. But it has been so much fun, and we've got the kids involved. We've been making the dough, and then you kind of rest the dough. There's a whole art and science behind the dough itself. So we went to Tuscany in March and we did a pizza making class, and we were taught how to make the dough with the different kinds of flour and how to rest it. Anyway, we were like, oh, we've nailed this now. This is going to be great. We got home, we just can't manage to make the dough. So if anyone knows where to buy really good dough, that'd be really useful. But we have been experimenting with lots of different toppings, and it's great. Like you say, if it's sunny, you just sort of sit around chatting while you go. And
it's quite an affordable like lunch dinner to make. Like it's really
especially
fun.
if you're having people over as well. That's quite nice.
Yeah, because you can only do one at a time. But if you're kind of grazing and eating, and then you can even get your guests, decorating their own, dressing their own pizzas.
So nice.
Yeah, so that's been really fun.
Lovely.
Yeah. Has anyone watched Eric?
I have watched a couple of episodes, so do not ruin anything for me.
No,
I've seen so many people talking about it, and
like
I'm really
the show.
intrigued.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it. I've only seen 3, so I have. But this morning on the desk, a few of my colleagues were like, "I finished it the weekend. I binged it," and now I'm like, "Oh my god, I've got to go home and just like watch it before I hear any spoilers." Sure. If you don't know, the story is Benedict Cumberbatch plays the father of a 9-year-old boy who's gone missing, and they're living in New York in the 80s when New York feels really quite, certainly not what it is now, quite dangerous and edgy. Him and his wife are having a very difficult time in their marriage. Things are not great at home. He is a puppeteer for a children's TV program. As the first episode unravels, well, very quickly you find out the son has gone missing. That happens, and that's in the trailer, so no spoilers there. But as the episode progresses, you start learning more and more about the father's mental state, the state of the marriage, what's going on with the TV show. But I think what I love most about what I've seen so far is how richly drawn all the other characters are. So often you watch something and it's like the main couple of characters are great. That's the main storyline. And then they have these kind of random plot lines that come alongside that just never really deliver, and you just feel like it's a bit of a waste of time and the characters aren't really developed properly. But I feel watching this, every single character's story could have been its own miniseries. So it's written by Abby Morgan.
They're all very interesting.
Yeah, and she's brilliant at writing characters. She did The Split and The Iron Lady. And it's such a pleasure to watch something that's so well written. And also Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic at playing drunk.
Yeah, yeah, he is actually.
Just,
that's so true.
Stumbles around the place. He has these kind of visions and are they hallucinations?
I don't know.
It's hard to talk about it without giving too much away. But all I would say is, if you haven't yet watched it, definitely watch it.
And how do you watch it?
It's Netflix, isn't it? Yeah. I think there's only about 6.
It's not long, but the episodes themselves are quite long, right?
Yeah. So it would be a tricky one to binge, but it's so brilliant and it's so different. I'm not really quite sure what genre I would put it in.
No.
But it's definitely drama. There's lots of black comedy too.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out.
Intrigued.
Yeah. Have you been watching anything good?
I have watched 2 things, probably not as highbrow, but one is the documentary on Ashley Madison, which, if you don't know what that is, it's probably a good thing. But it's basically a dating site on America that still exists.
Oh, I saw this. When they talk about this on Gogglebox, that's normally like my segue into TV shows.
To try and come up with some new things to watch.
Yeah.
Have watched Gogglebox recently, so I don't know. But so basically, it's a dating website in America for people that want to have marital affairs.
Yes.
So you go on, you sign up. It's supposed to be super secure. You know, they hold their data really well encrypted, etc., etc. But people go on there to find other people to have relationships and sex with that are not their wives, and everyone on there is married, basically. So it's just about adultery.
So do you have to be married in order to be on it, presumably?
I doubt they're fact checking, but I think that's the appeal of it.
Is the idea that your partner knows that you're doing it, so it's like a safe space, or no, it is like, okay, fine.
It's very secretive, and like people have the app, and it's like in a secret section on their phone or whatever.
Okay.
The first episode is just about what the brand is and why people sign up to it and the marketing around the brand. And you think, how are they going to make this into like a whatever part series documentary? But it goes into this huge issue that happened with them having a data leak, essentially.
Can you imagine?
So people's names initially were listed on the internet as having an Ashley Madison account.
Oh my gosh.
So wives, employers, etc. were like finding out. It follows the story of a few people that were affected by it, either the wives or the husband that cheated. And there are wives on there that also want to cheat, but it's predominantly men. But also about how the business itself lied constantly about like how secure they were with their data.
Wow.
You could pay a certain fee to have all of your data erased so that it would never like come to light or whatever. That was just a fake marketing ploy to make more money. They never did anything with the data.
Wow.
It still exists today.
How but
who would want to sign up for something that would be so...
Lots of people, millions and millions of people.
Just in America?
And Canada, I think, because one of my friend's cousins actually works for them.
No way.
I don't know what they do, but yeah.
I wonder what it will be like post this documentary coming out, how much it'll be affected.
But it started, the data breach happened because obviously in America, they're a huge part of the population are Christian and very religious and think that this is hugely unethical because of that. But so someone actually hacked their system and said, we're going to release all this data unless you shut your business down. And they didn't. So they released it.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Sounds like TikTok.
Yeah. Scary. Anyway, the moral of the story is you're going to get caught, so don't do it.
Yeah.
Do you think you can get away with it?
Nothing's ever secure.
No way.
Oh my God.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm also watching Jeremy Clarkson's Farm, 3rd series of it. I just love it so much. It's so good.
Do you know, I just finished that and I watched the first one. It's in the first series, and I was kind of like, yeah, it's quite interesting, but I just don't love him.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
and then now I'm like, the last season, I sort of converted back.
I love it. It's
so
so
good.
wholesome and good.
Yeah.
And like, I know it's all for entertainment, and like, I mean, he is attempting to run a farm, and he is. He's been doing it for like 3 years or something now. But watching all the farm life and the little pigs that they breed, like, it's just so cute. I love it.
Yeah, it is very wholesome, but it also makes you appreciate how hard it is.
How hard farming
like,
is,
it is tough.
I come from a farming family. All my mum's side of the family are farmers, and it is insane. I have one bad year and another bad year, and you're bankrupt almost. It's
and the amount of
brutal.
money you have to put down up front to kind of pay for everything, and you won't even like yield a profit for another year or something. It's like
it's a way of life as opposed
Yeah,
to a business for a
totally.
lot of people. What else have I been loving? Oh, I've been banging on about this like non-stop everywhere, so I'm really sorry. But Free Souls mushroom coffee, it's called Wake, is just my new fix. I've got a really expensive coffee machine at home and I haven't used it for a month because this is all I drink now.
Wow.
It's unreal. I
and
can't...
what's the benefits of mushroom coffee versus normal coffee?
So they have a whole host of mushrooms in it, which have all sorts of different vitamins and nutrients and minerals and that sort of thing that's good for you. But the reason why it's better is because the caffeine levels in it are so much lower than coffee, but it gives you a caffeine hit. So it's less than 60 milligrams or something like that in a cup of coffee, mushroom coffee. Whereas like a latte is almost like 200 milligrams.
So is it mushrooms blended with coffee?
Yeah.
So it actually has got coffee.
It does have it, which is good because you feel like you're having a coffee, which is great.
Yeah. And does it taste of coffee?
Tastes like coffee. You don't get jitters. Like it still gives you energy. Like it's a really nice, mellow way of having caffeine.
And will that be the new trend? Like, will you be able to go to a coffee shop and say, I would like a mushroom coffee?
I mean, Matcha's massive, so assume it would become similar. Yeah.
And presumably there's extra health benefits because it's mushrooms.
Yeah, I won't profess to know them, but there's like lion's mane in there, shiitake, like all sorts of different mushrooms that I have heard buzzwords around before around health foods and things like that. So it's got to be better for you than just straight up caffeine.
I'll admit, I didn't know lion's mane was a type of mushroom because otherwise that sounded really weird.
That's supposed to be like the number one. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and I feel like Jeremy was growing.
He grows it.
His farm, if you want to, go down to the farm shop and check it out.
So I'm hooked to that. It's very yummy as well. And I feel like everyone would put off by the word mushroom coffee. And I have tried bad mushroom coffee in the past, like 5 years ago when they tried to make it a thing.
Yeah.
It was quite rank.
I think I might have had one then and I was just like, oh my God, no. But this actually tastes like coffee.
Tastes really good.
And do you have it like in a filter? So you plunge it or do you put it in a
it's
machine?
Like
or is
instant coffee, essentially. So just a teaspoon of it, however you want to take it. But I've had it in iced coffee, which tastes probably the best, to be fair. That is very good. But you can add frothy milk to it and have your cappuccino, like however you want to take your coffee.
Nice.
Oh, I might have to try that.
I've got it at my desk.
Yeah.
My fourth thing, which is quite boring, but I think essential and brings me a lot of happiness, is new pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
Love. Where from?
I've just bought a pair from Napco, which I buy their bras and they are unbelievable.
Oh, Napco, didn't you them?
They're in Selfridges. They have they're called the sleep bra, but they're not for sleeping, but they're like the most comfortable bra you'll ever wear. And I've worn those for years, but they've just brought out this really pretty like cotton long sleeve. It's paisley like cutouts, but not print.
Okay.
Short and like long sleeve top. It's so soft and
like
lovely.
A cotton or a linen or
it's a cotton.
Okay.
Like really soft.
Yeah.
It's so nice and it brings me so much joy to wear.
I think that sounds gorgeous. I love pajamas every Christmas and then my birthday's in the summer, so I always get pajamas from somebody. And in the winter, I like to have my long sleeve everything. And then in the summer, I do like those little short sets.
Yes.
Yeah,
little,
I feel like I'm in the market
down.
for that. I don't know how often you should refresh your pajama drawer
for like a hygiene perspective.
But for both, like I feel like I've got two really amazing piglet in bed, which I absolutely love. Like linen, I've got the shorts and the long versions, and then I wear the If Only If nighties.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like I need like a next summer short situation.
Yeah. I definitely think they need to be switched up seasonally. I think that is a thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also when you shove them in the washing machine, kind of, if you've got nice little trims or edges or buttons, they do kind of get wear and tear. If you're kind of like rolling around in them all night, they're going to kind of age, I guess, more than if you're like sitting in a top all day. So I think you should just be upgrading regularly.
Well, we actually ran a piece on site, I think it ran today, on new summer PJs.
I also think it's no bad thing to continue making an effort a little bit, even into the evening. You're like, look cute when you go into bed. Like, that's no bad thing.
Oh yeah, but I remember the first time I wore an If Only If nightie, I put it on and then I changed to get into bed because I was like, it's too nice. Pretty, it's too nice. And then I was like, come on, like wear it.
Yeah.
And then I felt so nice.
In fact, that was reminding me, I went to, there's that brand Fawn.
Oh yes,
so it has a pop-up at Anthropology on King's Road at the moment. And I popped in and they've got some gorgeous, oh my God, Lou, actually the most gorgeous girls dresses and nighties, which is how they started, was with children's wear. Yeah. But they have these beautiful night dresses that you just don't want to wear. I think you can wear them in the evening. They're like silk, but they're not really thin straps. They've kind of got a thicker strap,
So nice.
kind of bias cut, and really pretty colours.
Well,
and
yeah,
they're
check
just
that out.
stunning. And I think you could just wear those. You could wear those for a wedding or all sorts of
Yeah.
things. They're so romantic.
Gorgeous.
They're really lovely, but definitely too good for bed. Right. So talking of pajamas on the site, there's some other SL picks that that we want to mention. I think I might just kick off actually with a travel feature that Sherry wrote, which was about what to do in Bodrum. And the reason I loved this feature is because I'm actually going to Turkey for the first time this summer, thinking of going to Bodrum. So I was reading through it, and she's got the kind of the hot hotel opening, the beach club, the restaurant to go to. There's also kind of an all-inclusive villas company that she talks about, and I feel like Turkey's having a real moment.
Yeah.
Everything I open
Nana's
and read
just
about.
come back from there. She was there this weekend.
In Bodrum?
Yeah.
Ah, amazing. Oh, well, I have to get some more tips from
Yeah,
her.
and it looked so beautiful.
They do.
Like pure blue skies, amazing seas, like really healthy food. Like,
and I
just
think
really...
it's got a really rocky coastline.
Yeah.
So the sea is so clear because
Yeah.
of that. And I think if you're into kind of snorkeling, sailing, just kind of going out on paddle boards, anything like that. And some parts of that coastline, when you sit, you look and you just look straight onto all the Greek islands,
Yeah,
like
it's
Rhodes.
so
beautiful.
beautiful.
So beautiful. So I'm excited for my holiday, and yeah, lots of tips there from Sherry.
When are you going?
Going in August.
Mm.
Yeah.
long.
So I'm going to Kalkan in a villa, and then doing a little bit of sailing further up the coast, staying on a boat for a couple of days. And then I'm not really sure about what to do in the second week, but I'm thinking of actually sailing over to Rhodes.
That's
And
so
like
cool.
1 week Turkey, 1 week Rhodes.
Wow.
We'll see.
Love
you know,
that.
it's
That's
work
really
in
cool.
progress. But I feel like I am a bit of a fly and flop person generally
Really?
when it comes to holidays, and I need to make myself be a bit more travel-y about it. And I think with my kids being kind of 15 and 18, it's
Yeah.
a good time to be like, right, come on,
Yeah.
let's do a bit more exploring and sightseeing. And, you know, we're never going to look around cathedrals and things like that, but we're in museums, especially not in summer. But I think it's nice to do multi-destinations, because then
Yeah.
you just feel like
Yeah,
you've been away
yeah,
for so much longer as well. Maya, have you seen anything on the site that you want to mention?
We actually went to Polo in the Park on Saturday, so we have a partnership with them every year. And this year we had a table in their hospitality section.
You all looked absolutely amazing. I was there for the outfits.
Yeah.
It's got me excited for summer occasion wear dressing now. Like, I haven't really had a reason to get dressed up so far this year. That was the first occasion, and now I'm excited for Ascot next week.
Where was your
Yeah.
dress from?
Forever New.
So lovely.
Yeah, it was like this long polka dot, floaty, maxi dress.
Was that giving the kind of polka dot Julia Roberts
Everyone
Pretty
said
Woman
that
vibe?
to me.
Even though her dress looks very different to the one you were wearing, but
Must have been
polka
because it was
dots.
referenced.
I feel like some
yeah.
subliminal in your mind that you
Yeah.
were like, polo, dots,
Yeah.
obviously.
But it was really fun. Everyone does make an effort, which I really like events like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When you know everyone's going to be dressed up and you can go
I used
for
to love
it.
when everyone used to really dress up for the theatre, and now people just like don't
They
at
just
all.
don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
they just
yeah,
wear
I
like
love
jeans
those.
and trainers.
Yeah.
So disappointing. Yeah.
So now I do need a dress for Ascot. I don't have a dress for there.
Have you got a hat?
Haven't, but I am looking.
Okay.
And have been assured that they're not all sold out. So I think
Nana
I'll be
is
okay.
presenting there next week. She's doing like 4 days of presenting, and she was saying that when she was in Bodrum, she was mood boarding all of her looks.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm really excited
Oh
to
my
see what
god,
she
I
does
love
with.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
They'll be
going too
colourful.
actually, and still need to get my hat. But it's funny because most of our friends, we're not in that sort of wedding season part of our lives anymore, because everyone's kind of settled down. And what I've always loved about going to Ascot is, or things like Polo in the Park, is when you don't have all those weddings and all those moments to get dressed up, there's kind of nothing. But
Yeah.
always having those things, if you're able to go, you know, every couple of years, it's just such a lovely opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
So nice.
And, people are there for the polo. Definitely are. But most of the time, people are there for the occasion and the fun and, like, the atmosphere
Oh,
instead.
definitely.
Yeah,
I bet
for
like
sure.
the dressing up
The
is so the best
rosé.
bit.
Yeah.
I think as well, like so much of art, well, particularly in our industry, our wardrobes just kind of all roll into one, like what you wear like to work in the
Yeah, so
evenings, on the
true.
weekend things. So it's really nice to have those occasions where it's like a completely different outfit to something that you're wearing on a regular like day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
and like make that extra effort, and especially like a hat, like how fun.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
fun. I've actually never worn a had to ask it before, because the years I've gone before, I've been in the areas where you don't have to wear a specific hat.
Okay.
You can get away with like a fascinator or a headband.
Yeah.
So this is going to feel quite weird to me, I think. To be wearing it.
What do you know, like what type of thing you want?
I'm thinking small,
Yeah.
not like the big ones, just because I will end up smacking someone, I'm sure.
I've only been once, and I had like a little, like a navy, like pillbox with like a net that came over the front.
That's cool.
And then I had
really
like a black
chic.
and white, like long maxi dress, and then actually tails. It was like a tails blazer that I got from Zara, which it's like still one of my favorite items I've ever owned. And yeah, it's like cropped to the front and then long tails. It was so cool.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, monochrome's quite classic, Esther, isn't it? Yeah, nice.
All I will say, if you're in England and planning to dress for an occasion, you've got to have a cover up. It is still
Oh my gosh.
chilly.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, I was really hopeful because last year at the Polo it was so hot. It was like 30 degrees. It was almost too hot. We had to have fans. This year, not quite the same, and I didn't prepare.
Oh no.
Did you have a jacket?
No, I was
Oh my
quite
God,
cold.
it was pretty chilly on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh.
So don't get caught out.
Yeah, it's actually really hard as well, because if you fall in love with a dress that's kind of got big
You don't want
sleeves
to
or
cover
something,
it up.
to then put a coat over the top or
Yeah.
a jacket, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't say I have many jackets that actually go with occasion dress. I think it's quite a hard
Yeah,
thing
it is,
to
it
get
is.
right.
Yeah.
So I just persevered instead.
Well done for
Dedicated to the
persevering.
look.
On to news articles. Lou, you have something to share with us.
Yes, so I was browsing the weekend papers and came across a article on the old school foods that are having a comeback. So things like prunes, frozen veg, cottage cheese, custard, eggs, Marmite, things like that.
I can get into this. I love a retro food.
Yeah, it was basically like, forget chia seeds and avocado. These are the health kicks that you
so
actually
they're
need.
good for you.
Yeah, they're really good for you. So apparently, prunes and cottage cheese are good for your biome. Have you guys watched that documentary on Netflix about your microbiome? And it's basically but all about your gut health. The crux of it is that to have a good gut health, you basically have to eat the most amount of variety in vegetables. So you can't just eat the same 5 within your diet. You need to have like a lot of variety, which basically helps it. Anyway, prunes and cottage cheese apparently. Red grapes boost your immunity.
Oh, I eat red grapes quite a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I always eat
Thrilled
green.
to hear that. I always go green, but now I'm going to go red. An apple a day helps your cholesterol. Milk before bed, I feel like we knew this because of babies, but contains, I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly, tryptophan. Anyway, good night's sleep. And plain yogurt reduces type 2 diabetes.
Very good.
Yeah, and I think Marmite, what did it say about Marmite? Marmite is good for the nervous system. Eggs can protect your eyesight. Humble cress is a great antioxidant. Cottage cheese good for the gut.
Cottage cheese is having a bit of a moment on TikTok as well at the moment.
Oh, really?
People are making cottage cheese wraps. So it's literally, I mean, I don't know the exact process. I haven't done it myself, but my friend makes them like every day and they look good. So you literally like blitz cottage cheese, then put it out, like paste it out. And then I think you bake it for a really short amount of time and it hardens and you can turn it into a wrap.
Oh, so you can still fold it.
Yeah,
It
and then you
doesn't
put
just
fillings
crumble.
inside.
Wow.
And apparently it's delicious. Because I don't like cottage cheese.
Oh my God, I OD'd on cottage cheese when I was at university. I think I always had cottage cheese and a tin of sweet corn.
That
And then,
sounds
like,
right.
That, yeah.
was
I don't
cheap.
think I've like seen
Cheap,
like
cheap.
do they have that in like Zeno's?
Cottage cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tub.
And it has
I
different
can't imagine what that
flavours
looks
of it.
like.
It's
It
like
looks-
white curdles.
No, as in, I know what the food looks like. As in, like I can't like see it on the shelves.
Yeah, it's always in the fridge section.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You have
Okay.
different flavours of it. Like you can get chive, you can get pineapple
Okay.
chunks and something.
Yeah, you can.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Horrible. Yeah, but it is cheap and good for you. So I was
Yeah.
actually having quite a
High
healthy
protein.
student diet.
What do you?
Little
What's
did I
your
know.
kind of like weirdest old school food that still it kicks around in your diet?
Pumpernickel bread.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Quite
Is
like
that
like a
Do you know
rye
what? Yeah.
that's not that
Yeah.
old school.
And I only have it toasted. I wouldn't have
Yes.
it. It has to be toasted. And actually, it is so nice with cottage cheese on it. So that's a
I can
great
see that.
combination.
Toto Wolff talks about having that every morning for breakfast.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, it's quite, I suppose it is quite German, isn't it? But it's definitely something I remember having kind of in the 80s when my mum was buying those kind of breads and then sort of didn't ever buy them, felt like it was cardboard basically, and I didn't
Yeah.
want that. and then joined the sourdough revolution. And now I've come back to going, you know what, actually, I quite like it. So I bought my first packet last week, weirdly, having not had it for ages. Toasted with hummus, some tomatoes, bit of chili, bit of feta. It kind of needs something quite sharp to cut through it.
Yeah.
So something like cottage cheese or feta is really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mine's coronation chicken. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm sure it's not good for you.
Do you make it yourself?
No, I just buy it from Waitrose or Sainsbury's.
Okay.
Actually,
love
Cook
it.
do a really good one as well if you want to like elevate it even more.
I mean, it is easy to make. I could make it myself, but it's more of a convenience thing for a quick work lunch. But I just love coronation chicken.
In the pandemic, my husband used to make coronation chicken like lettuce cups a lot.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. And Pip eats it quite frequently, I've been told, which I think is a good sign because she's pretty healthy.
Yeah, she is. She knows a lot about gut health.
Yeah, so I'm going to say it's not that bad for you. It's just the amount of mayonnaise.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Isn't great. I love it.
Mine is Branson pickle.
Oh, I
and
love
actually,
pickle.
I went to the Anya Hindmarsh ice cream pop up last week, which is here for a couple of weeks on Pont Street, and it's like they've done it for years, and there's loads of weird and wonderful ice cream flavors, and I didn't know what I was tasting, but I did see a Branson pickle like image on the door, so I knew it was going to be in there somewhere, and it was very pickly. You could taste the vinegar like as soon as you had it. We brought one back to the office. Did you try it?
Yeah, I tried Piccalilli.
Yeah.
Was it not good? Even
well,
if you
not
know
as
what
an
it
ice
is?
cream. I didn't
Not
know
as an
what
ice cream.
it was.
Like I think it doesn't not taste nice, but I think you like what you associate with like having ice cream.
Yeah.
But there was also a baked bean one which tasted nothing like baked beans and was just kind of like creamy and orangey.
Yeah, I thought
nice.
the Piccalilli was actually fish and chips because there was something
Okay.
vinegary there. So
Vinegar,
the association
right.
with me was like, oh, vinegar, tartar sauce, something like that.
Ooh,
And I've
fish and
never
ice cream.
ever eaten Piccalilli, so I wouldn't have known that that's what it was. If you know what I mean. But then there was this, just this vinegar association. That's the only food I could think of.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't put vinegar on my fish and chips. But
What?
no, just tartar sauce,
That's
Oh,
outrageous.
yeah, I would.
Vinegar,
They also had
curry
a
sauce and ketchup.
curry sauce.
Yeah.
what all together?
Yeah.
Would you not have tartar sauce then?
No.
Oh,
Curry sauce and ketchup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'd do a half and half situation.
okay, so not blended.
No, but
Although by the
it does
end-
tend to do that.
Yeah.
It's like the best part of a roast dinner is the bit right at the end when it's
It
all
all
mushed
mushes
in.
together. I actually have tomato ketchup with my Heinz baked beans.
Yeah, I'm on for that.
Just an extra hit of. I really like that vinegary.
Yeah, me too. I'm
kick.
really into vinegar. I put vinegar in my gravy and my peas. Love that. Yeah. Delicious.
Okay, well, on that sort of stomach-turning note, we'll move on to some community questions. So we've had a few in. The first one is last-minute gift ideas for a mother who's turning 50. Maya,
I'm a really bad person to ask this because I actually forget almost everyone's birthdays and special occasions, and then I just end up sending them flowers that are available on next day delivery.
Yeah, I've done that a lot.
Well, you can't go wrong with that.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm the wrong person to ask. Lou, you're a lot more thoughtful, I feel.
I am thoughtful, but often forget.
Well, it did say
So-
last minute,
yeah,
so,
so
I
last
feel like
minute.
this
Oh, okay.
person's
Okay,
forgotten as
sure.
well.
I think
Flowers.
any sort of like experience. I think like going for like taking them to a beautiful like lunch, like going to like Beaverbrook for the day and having a really nice lunch. I often feel like spa days are so expensive.
Yeah.
So a nice voucher like that. Actually, for my auntie recently, I bought her a Dalesford voucher, and she bought a really beautiful hamper with that, which I think is like a kind of a
nice.
foodie voucher is also quite nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. And maybe something that's set menu that they can take a friend to or something like
Yes.
that is always nice.
Yeah, or theatre
Yeah.
tickets as well.
That's
I
a good
also
one.
think is really, really fun. Then you hope that you will be the one that they'll take.
They
Well,
choose.
yeah,
you.
and I actually think when it's like a parent, what I've done with my parents recently for Christmas and birthdays is do something that they get to do with me.
Yeah.
Because I've got kids, often when we're together, it's like all of you together. And sometimes your parent, I think, does just want one-on-one time
Yeah.
with you. So I think if it's a last-minute thing for your mum turning 50, a ticket to do something with you is just a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I would say something like a subscription's really lovely. So every time, each month when it comes, whether it's flowers, you can get chocolate subscriptions, something more wellnessy, that she'll then think of you
So nice.
a few times over the
Yeah,
year. So
yeah.
yeah, hopefully a few good ideas there. another question is where to stay outside of London, Airbnb or hotels? I mean, obviously, that could be anywhere in the country. Lou, didn't you recently have a nice family break somewhere?
Yes, we went, oh my God, it was so lovely. We went to the Cotswolds to a house called Wood Farm House. It's on Sand and Stone Escapes. It is like an interior's dream.
I mean, it really is. We actually did a house tour on it. It was so stunning.
So beautiful. So my brother lives in Switzerland and he brought his 2 kids over, and then it's my mum, my husband, my daughter and I. So it was a good family occasion. We haven't had that for a long time. And it was so beautiful. I mean, the weather also wasn't great, but almost that was quite nice because it meant you didn't feel guilty staying in the house the whole time. They had an amazing like cinema, like TV rooms. We got snug in there. The kids' room was so beautiful. They had double bunk beds.
Oh, cute.
So cute. Anyway, there was like loads going. Obviously in that area there's loads to do. We went to a family farm and the kids like played with the animals, which was really sweet, and lots of nice walks, and it was really lovely. My dad is actually over in 2 weeks, so we are going away with him for the weekend, and we're actually going to go down to like Rye, Camber, and I found an amazing B&B in Dungeness, and there are so many amazing rentals down there, like really kind of quirky, unique properties that are like on the beaches with kind of nothing around you. And around there's so many great things to do. Like there's really good antiques. There's the Gallivant, obviously, in Camber Sands, in Rye, there's loads going on. So I feel like it's going to be, that's a good area to go to if you want to do lots of things and exploring and also enjoying.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth looking at websites beyond Airbnb because like sometimes there are ones that have specialist areas. So there's one called Wellies and Windbreaks, which specialise around kind of West Wittering and East Wittering. So if you're into that bit of coastline and you want a kind of beach-based break, they've got lots of cottages that are worth looking at as well.
Really nice.
Yeah. Okay, final question is favourite London neighbourhoods to explore on the weekend?
This is only up the road from me, so I'm not really going very far when I suggest this, but Camberwell, if you're looking for like a bit of a foodie tour, you could literally do like breakfast, lunch and dinner there really well, or you can maybe do starters and desserts. They've got one road with all of the restaurants along there are so good. Forza Wine, Camberwell Arms are both like 2 of my favourites. The food around there is so good.
Oh, that's like quite close to me and I've never really thought about going there.
Really good.
Me neither.
Camberwell Arms have one of the best vegetarian dishes I've ever eaten in my life. It's
what was it?
It's this like heirloom tomato salad, but it's covered in like a tahini all over it and this like sort of sagey green oil. But it sounds so like straightforward, but it is one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life.
Nice.
Yeah, so Camberwell's a nice little area.
Nice.
And then you can go up to Peckham afterwards if you want to keep the night going and go like to the
Peckham's really good foodie
there.
scene as well. There's an amazing Italian called Artusi, which I love.
And really good wine bars in Peckham as well, actually.
So right. I think for foodie as well at Borough, like you can't beat it around there. Like there's so much going on. Obviously they've got the market, but like so many incredible restaurants.
Yeah, and it's all the streets around the market.
Yeah, and you're near the river, and I think that's just such a cool place to go and explore.
Yeah, agreed. I also think if you haven't been, and I think lots of people still haven't been, is to the whole Battersea Power Station neighbourhood, and it's really, it's just like each year more bits of it are opening. And I had a really nice day there recently where I did some rooftop yoga on the pool at the Art Hotel. You just look over the kind of the big chimneys down the river, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then just kind of going around, walking around, lots of cafes and things, lots of units still opening. And then at the river, where it's on the river, there's this kind of green patch where they're always having kind of pop-ups and events. They do the ice rink in the winter, and in the summer they kind of have big screens showing things like the tennis or other things. And yeah, you can just wander up to King's Road, go down Pavilion Road, which is so lovely behind
Pavilion
Peter
Road.
Jones.
So I love it. I love it
there. It's so buzzy. I mean, you just have to like wait for a table anywhere you go, but it's worth it. So yeah, that's where I would head to. That feels like a good place to finish. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please do remember to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. And we'll see you next time.